to the US and lawyer and retired US Marine Corps officer Haytham Faraj. Welcome to the program, Haytham. What are the main challenges you see in moving so many people in such a short time if Israel is going to launch this operation in 2 weeks?
The military challenge is nearly impossible. You can't move that many people, especially when you don't have housing pre-planned for them. The plan, as Netanyahu envisions it, is to continue to murder and kill as many people as possible and force them to flee towards the border with Egypt, and then pressure Sisi to allow them in. But that's not going to happen.
Haytham, in terms of what we understand so far regarding how Hamas has been resisting the Israeli ground operations across the Strip, what do you expect might happen in Rafah in terms of, has Hamas been confronting the Israelis as they approach, or have they retreated and then engaged in what could be called urban guerrilla warfare, I suppose?
I mean, Hamas has conducted a classic battle of resistance. It is guerrilla warfare. They don't need to go after the Israelis. The Israelis have made it clear that they are going after them. And so all they have to do is wait and wait for the opportunity to attack, as they have been. If you followed some of the videos that they publish, I doubt that there are many Hamas fighters inside those camp cities. I mean, we know where Hamas generally is located. They're dug in underground. They're in the rubble that the Israelis have created, and the Israelis have to go looking for them. I think it's a pipe dream that Netanyahu thinks that he's going to find Hamas in the now displaced Palestinians. This is part of his plan to transfer Palestinians out of Gaza. This is what he said. Well, it was unsaid at the outset because it's a war crime, but that has been his intent all along. They have not achieved any of the goals that they have set for themselves. They can't name anyone that they've killed. They haven't released any hostages. And so this is Netanyahu's attempt to try and keep his government together, to try and remain in power. And I don't think he understands what he's getting himself into.
What is he getting into then?
He hasn't been declared a war criminal yet, but at least not by the people that are supporting him, because they're still protecting him. But he is about to commit a war crime worse than he's committed so far. And it is all because he cannot see a way out. The U.S. has given him a way out. The Saudis gave him a way out a couple of days ago. But because he's built a coalition that is resistant to any kind of peace, any recognition for the Palestinians of having any kind of territory for their own that they have sovereignty over, he is going to continue on this genocidal path until he can't anymore.
I really precisely wanted to ask you about accountability here, Haytham. In terms of what Israeli soldiers are reported to have been doing around Gaza's hospitals. At the moment, at the Nasser hospital, there are reports, and we've got the story coming up, about snipers shooting civilians who are sheltering inside the compound. And that's just one of the many attacks on medical centers across Gaza. Israel rarely punishes its own soldiers, but this is breaking international humanitarian law. It's quite clear that hospitals have to be safeguarded. So do you ever see any possible accountability coming?
No, I do not. The only accountability that can be imposed is by the international community, as we saw from South Africa's attempt at the ICJ. But Israel has a long history of allowing its soldiers to act with impunity. From targeting the press. Shireen Abu Akleh was killed long before the October 7 attack, and on and on and on and on. They act with impunity because they see themselves as superior, as supremacists, and the Israeli government does not hold them accountable. I mean, I, as a military lawyer in the Marine Corps, was involved in numerous war crimes cases. I'm nowhere suggesting that we were perfect, but we had a system to hold people accountable. It didn't always work, but the system was there. We don't see that with the Israelis.
Haytham Faraj, it's always a pleasure to hear your analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.